Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Deer Creek. Now, if you recall our previous episode, we managed to get all our barley finished harvesting here in field number 1. And if you recall back to some earlier episodes, we talked about how Deer Creek had a custom season cycles for planting and harvesting, which allowed us to double plant with wheat and soybeans. So we're just going to have a look here at the planting schedule, planting calendar. And you can see there in June and July we've got an overlap between wheat and barley harvest and soybean planting. So our plan today, get some soybeans in the ground. We want to be able to make sure we're getting into this November, possibly December window there for harvesting. We've got all our corn, so we're going to have a very, very busy end of autumn, early winter, weather permitting, to get these crops all harvested. So the sooner we can get, or quicker we can get these soybeans planted, the better. So moving on from there, we also have this mod called Field Calculator, which came out reasonably recently by KR Softwares, who is part of the LS modding company team. And this will tell us on the fields we own, or the ones that are for sale, what our quantities of product we need. If we are to, say, apply lime, we need 205,820 litres, fertilizer 13,000, and so on and so forth. So we can know exactly what we need to buy if we don't have enough product on stock to make sure we can get our fields planted. Now, down the bottom here is a show seed consume. Now, the reason for that, each different fruit or each different crop has a different seed application rate. So, wheat, we needed 12,000 litres, sunflowers 19, corn's very low, and I do know that Central Ohio modding did adjust the rates of the seed usage in here to match sort of the average bushels per acre that would go on if you were planting seed. So there we go, soybeans we need 5,500 litres. So we can go have a check, see if we need to go and pick up any more seed before we get started planting in here. Unfortunately, I don't think it calculates the anhydrous, so we'll need to top that up. I do know that the planter, when we planted the wheat, took more than at least one load of anhydrous. I think it was 2 or 3, so we'll need to get that topped up and make sure that is running. But let's just hop into the tractor and take a quick look here. 2,500 litres of seed, and we need 5,500. So I guess we better get the hopper here opened up on the cart, and we'll go and pull out the seed tender and see how much seed there is left in that. I guess we'll need about 3,000 litres, 2,500 litres to get up to that 5,000 and a bit that we needed for this field. Alright, so we're hooked up here to the seed tender, and we've got 3,500 litres in here, which is pretty much bang on for what we're going to need for this field. So we'll get, actually have to swing around because the auger pops out here on this left hand side. So we'll go around the silo here and get this all unloaded and top up that seeder to make sure we've got enough soybeans to go into this field. Pulled up here beside. Now we need to bring that out. I'm not sure which the two hoppers it's going to be in. Probably the next one. Indeed it is, but we are already on that, so we're obviously not quite aligned. And there we are, we've managed to get it positioned reasonably close to over the top of that auger, and we'll get all of this seed taken out of here and up into the air cart. There we go, all out. So we'll get that folded up, put the cover back on, go and put it back in the shed. Then we'll have to go and grab one of the trucks to pull that anhydrous trailer out and get that topped up. I know there is some anhydrous sitting there in that tank. Again, we talked about it last time we used anhydrous, not that realistic in terms of you would not keep a semi-trailer parked on the side of your shed with some anhydrous in it. Just would not be safe at all. But we are just working within the way the game is set up. So we'll get that parked about there and go find a truck and get some anhydrous pulled out. There we go, we've got about 14,000 litres here in the truck. Now we take 5,000 gallons in the caddy there. I can't remember exactly how many litres that is. We do have 4,000 left. So we'll just park this over here. We might as well use that up at some stage. If we run around a headland pass first, we can top up after the first headland pass, assuming we get the whole way around with the anhydrous as it is, and then we can use some auto drive to head down and load up with some anhydrous and come back for some more. Now we're going to get this underway first and put it on some course play, follow it around for a little bit. We are going to get the sprayer out. We do have weeds to take care of in the other cornfield. We have only done the one cornfield so far, so we will do that once we've got the planter up and running, but obviously this is one of our priorities. The weeds are a priority as well, I'm not going to lie about that, but I do want to get this started because a big field of soybeans could be quite a valuable crop to have. Just while that's unfolding, we've got 5,923 litres of soybeans, and the field calculator suggested 5,400 or 5,500, so we should have about 400 litres left over when this is all finished. So it'll be an interesting check on the calculator to see if how accurate that all is and whether it picks it all up. But let's go ahead and get the courseplay course set up here for this and get things underway. Alright, there's our course all set up. All looks like it should work without any issues, none that I can spot from there, so nothing left to do. We'll just jump out of here, bring up our little HUD, set that to first waypoint, and press play. Just double check we do have soybean selected down there. Right, let's get this underway and see how it all goes. Making sure it does a good job to start with. Let's let it get along here to the start point. Should lower the seeder, and there we go, we're off and underway. Alright, looks like we're off and growing, but I do notice that we aren't putting down any anhydrous, and I know exactly why that is. That's a courseplay setting, so if we just pop into here somewhere, sowing machine uses fertilizer, there we go, need to activate that. And we can see now we've just seen a change in the colour of the soil. It's started going darker and the anhydrous is going down. Now that was a setting I had set when we were doing a planting contract and didn't want to be putting fertilizer on the fields unnecessarily. So a little bit of a mistake on my part. But we have a look now in the map and we are getting that, that darker state across the most of it. Now this is the issue. Because we used the chopped straw mod and gave that fertilizer state from the chopped straw being thrown back on the field, we are going to end up with these odd looking dark blue and light blue stripes. So for the expense or saving the expense of fertilizing the whole field, we aren't going to have a complete 100% coverage, which not ideal, but we'll make do with it. We can live with it, I think. But just something to bear in mind, I think when we said we did that to make sure we were running either the same harvesters to get that wider spread with the X9 rather than the S780 or S790, and or I guess we'd have to run a smaller header on the S7 combine if we wanted to try and achieve that. So we're going to leave the planter here running for a little bit, and I think we'll go and get started on some weed spraying, and then we'll come back and see how this guy's going on with the planting. Look at the Rubicon here, we've got 1770 litres of herbicide in it. Now we can use the same field calculator tool to tell us how much herbicide we're going to need for that field. So we're looking here at field number 4, we're going to need 9,500 litres. Now we know we've got an 8,000 litre tank we can grab out of the pickup there with the trailer on the back, and the 1,700 litres in there. So we should be pretty much bang on to get this all done with just the one load. So I'm going to, I'll drive over in the sprayer soon. We're going to grab a worker, use them on auto drive to head down to the co-op and buy some more herbicide for us. We've specified here our requirements go and get filled at co-op liquid buy point. We've got the field 4 entry to deliver it to and herbicide. I think we just need to get this turned around. There is an auto drive course just on the left. We can't have quite picked that up, but we should be able to from about here set that off on its way. Here we go. There's no point us riding along, we'll just jump out there from a moving vehicle, leave them to head down and get that purchased, and we'll follow along with the sprayer, and we will certainly have enough in the tank to make a start on that. Now at this point we have turned our traffic back on. We haven't been running any of the larger equipments, the combines or the seeder down the roads, so we've been able to handle that. Now I can see the pickup there up in front of us. Just hoping they did wait for that white car before they turned in, so they managed to get across the intersection there, or across the crossing, before any cars came along. So we'll let them head down there to get loaded up. We've just been completely rear-ended by that car. So let's get this unfolded here. Now I still haven't added GPS into this sprayer yet. I'm hopeful that we might see a an alternative sprayer come out in the not too distant future. I'm holding out hope that we might get something before I go and invest in this one, because certainly if there was something a little bit more appropriate came along, the 4940 from custom modding or something like that was released, then I would certainly be bringing that here onto the farm. But for now, we're just going to make do with this, and we'll make do without any DPS. But we'll get that turned on, we'll lower the boom down just a touch, and we're just about spreading this whole section in here without any worries. So I'm going to start off here. By the time we've gone around a headland pass, the truck should be back with a top up of herbicide. In fact, there's the money, $8,500 has just gone out, so they've managed to get the tank filled up. They should be back here at the field entrance by the time we've got around the headland. I got to the end of the field and realised we were never going to make it the whole way around with what we had in the sprayer, but we have had enough to get the whole way around there. Now I'm just going to go and try and turn off the right hand side here at least. We can't turn off the left, but here we go. We've saved a little bit of spray by only spraying with that one side. Now I'm not quite sure where our pickups ended up. I thought he was meant to be coming to the entrance here of field number 4. We may have to go and rescue him from somewhere. We'll have to go and see where they've ended up. I must have not had a entry point for field 4 heading from the co-op, and I've had to come all the way down here to the yard to do a U-turn, and have decided instead of going around the course I have that heads around here through the yard was to take the shortcut underneath the auger through the grain pit there. So we'll just drive this down ourselves now, I suppose, and get down there to get the sprayer filled back up. We made it over here. We've got the pump up and running on the trailer. We've had to relocate the sprayer, had to fold the boom up to get it to fill. Had to fill from the side here. Didn't seem to be a trigger, at least not from the rear. I didn't actually try and turn it around with the boom out to see if there was any on the front. There we go, that is all emptied out. And should, I'm hoping, leave us enough herbicide to do this whole field without quite running out. The calculator said we should, so I'm hoping the calculator was pretty accurate. So, get this all unfolded and get back underway. Alright, there we go, we are moving again. So, I think with this all topped up and back underway, I think there's nothing better than to put together a little bit of a montage of the spraying, and we'll catch you when we're finished, at least in this field, and see how progress is going over with the planting. Well, it's looking like we're going to end up with a one pass back down the field, and we're going to run out of herbicide, which is a little bit of a shame. I thought we were going to judge it quite nicely, but I suppose there's probably a little bit of my inaccuracies with turning on and off at the right time, or not having the full sectional control. I know we've got some sectional control, but it's not quite the same as having automatic shut off and turn on and all those kind of things that we might have had in a fully automated sprayer. We're not even going to quite make it to the end of this pass, are we? Oh, so close. Right, well, I think there's no point in taking the trailer over. We'll just run over here in the sprayer and go and get some extra herbicide. We've just been over here to the co-op. We've picked up 1800 or so litres of herbicide. That should be more than enough to finish off that last pass. In fact, it's probably going to be much too much because we can use the section control to turn off the extremities of the boom and just spray the width that we have to deal with, but it doesn't matter too much. We'll go and get this last little piece finished. You can see on the right here that the planter or seeder still has not made it around the field twice. They're still working on the headlands, so lots of time still to go there with the planting. But let's get down the row, get on over this way and get this spraying all finished off. And in fact, it's worked out to be pretty much a full width here of the boom, so we don't need to turn anything off. We'll just head along down here, get these last few weeds taken care of, like I've said, and then we'll be back over at the shed and go and catch up with the seeder. Alright, and there we go, all done. Good to get that finished. Right, let's get this folded up and head back over to the yard. Well, we might as well give this a good clean off while we're here. It's got a little bit dirty, particularly around the wheels and the underside of the chassis and things like that. So we'll get rid of any spray residue that might be around the booms and that as well before we get it put back in the shed. I'm assuming we're going to need to be spraying some weeds and soybeans at some stage too. So that'll probably be the next time we have to have this out, but we'll get it tidied up and put away for now. Alright, spray's back in the shed. We've got the pickup and trailer back over here too now. This needs a bit of a clean too, doesn't it? It's getting pretty filthy, so we'll make sure we take care of that sometime soon. But let's go for a walk across the field and go and see if we can find where the seeder is up to. We've made it over here to where the seeder is, just heading past the co-op, so almost 3/4 of the way probably around second headland pass. You can come around and we can see the shed there, so we're going to be heading back along the road, but certainly is a lot of ground to cover still. We haven't even finished the headlands and we've got all these up and down rows to go, so I'm going to be here in the planter for quite a while getting these soybeans done. So I think we're going to put in another little bit of a montage. I've been enjoying those today, so we'll put together that with this planting and probably, I'm hoping, we'll see how we go. We'll either get this field finished today or we'll wrap the episode up halfway through and finish it off in the next episode, or possibly in a live stream over the weekend. We'll see how we go. Alright, so we've made it halfway across the field here, starting on our rows back towards the yard, which is good. But I think that's going to be a perfect place to wrap things up for this episode. We're going to carry on planting and get this done, because once this is planted, there's going to be not much to do before the corn's going to be ready. I suppose we will have to roll this field and possibly deal with some weeds, but we'll see. We might do that on the live stream on the weekend. But I hope you have all enjoyed that episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.